Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the May 11th City Council meeting. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, when you are ready, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite,
Melly Garthwaite, Council at Large, present.
Councilman Peter Rivera,
Councilman Peter Rivera at large, present.
Councilman Sean Ronan,
Here.
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan,
Councilwoman Ann Heffernan, 1st District, here.
Councilwoman Nancy Tagliatella,
Councilwoman Nancy Tagliatella, 2nd District, here.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali,
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali, 3rd District, present.
Councilman Gary Donovan,
Councilman Gary Donovan, 4th District, present.
Councilman Edward McMillan,
Councilman Edward McMillan, 5th District, present.
Councilwoman Dawn Callahan,
Councilwoman Dawn Callahan, 6th District, present.
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker is absent. Councilman David Beaton,
Councilman David Beaton, 9th District, present.
Councilman Ronald Quagliani,
Ron Quagliani, 10th District, present.
Sorry. And Chairman Christopher Fargo.
Chairman Christopher Vargo, present. All right.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now enter public session. The time is 7:03. Would anyone from the public like to address the City Council for a second time? Mr. Hebert?
Here we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council people. My name's Rich Hebert. I live at 166 Bloom Street, and I just got a couple of procedural things. I'm on the Water Pollution Commission, and one of the questions that our secretary has is who she is supposed to send the agenda to, because I guess she made different attempts and not sure the right procedure. And is that documented anywhere? So that's one of my questions. The second question is, who owns the property behind the pump station on Bloom Street? Because that's a big collector of a lot of trash. We've had cleanups, and we go over there, and we find a plethora of stuff, and we need some help with that. And the third question I have is there a pipe plan for the city, for the sewage, all the water flow and everything else? I guess we had a recent incident at the plant, and there's no documentation on site. So if you got a pipe that's leaking over there, and there's shutoffs over there, somebody's got to know that. So then just putting it out there so that maybe we could look into that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert.
Hi, I'm Kathy Hebert, 166 Bloom Street. I wasn't going to say anything, but I wanted to clarify what Rich had said. The space behind the Bloom Street pump station, and it's basically Bloom, and then there's that just dead end of Anderson. And there's probably the length of this room, wooded area, and people just dump over there a lot, and we had a cleanup recently, and I personally thought it was the pump station. So when we bagged it all up, we put it in the driveway of the pump station thinking, well, they'll just throw it in the dumpster. Well, it's still sitting there, and I do plan to call Public Works tomorrow, because we were trying to find out, is it the city, is it whatever? And I did see the picture of the bureau, and I took a picture, but I figured I'd call tomorrow over on Bloom Street, right at the fence on Old Field Creek. So, thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to address the City Council?
Yes, Kristen Jacome Halkeman, 53 Sumac Street. Last 2 Mondays ago, I wasn't able to make it, but I wanted to say thank you for the questions that you did ask at the budget meeting for Board of Education. You guys did a really great job. It was really nice to hear that we did ask the superintendent to share the budget, to share amongst the residents. And I understand that there was supplemental aid given, so perhaps it's being reworked. Not sure if there's a deadline as to when the budget will be shared, but I would just like to share that's a great opportunity to share with residents in different ways and promoting communication. And then one last thing I'll say is, you know, I am rooting for everybody here. I understand that Facebook kind of becomes like an unofficial town hall. And I want to be sure that I'm using my voice in all different manners, whether it's social media, in person. And, you know, as a resident who perhaps is giving feedback is the way I take it, is I'm rooting for everybody. I love the city that I grew up in. I love the people that I grew up with. And yeah, thank you for all the work you've done. And I'm happy to always communicate and answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to address the city council? For a second time, would anyone from the public like to address the city council? Third and final time. Mr. Mullins?
Not too much, is it? Okay, thanks.
Smells lovely.
All right. Oh, you smell over there too? All right, that was kind of knocked me off there. All right. Stephen Mullins, 355 Main Street, I'm going to say. I'm here, hopefully speaking considerably more coherently than I did last time I appeared before you, to speak for two items, Communications D and Communication E under Personnel and Civil Service. As you know, I am the chairman of the Fair Rent Commission here in the city, and we are, at this point in time, very, very desperate for commissioners. We do have a serious shortage right now. We do not have any alternates at all, and we are in need of several commissioner seats to be filled. There was one occasion that I asked the vice chairman to please come despite being ill with influenza. Because we were not going to have a quorum, and we had some serious issues to discuss and deliberate on. And he sat segregated over there, but he did fully participate. But I hate to have to do that. We take 4 for a quorum, and if I have someone on vacation or an illness that's happening simultaneously, we are in serious trouble. West Haven has, at the last notice or census, roughly 56% of the dwellings in the city of West Haven are renter occupied. That is nearly 60% of the dwellings in the city of West Haven. So, and I do have an anticipation that before the year is out, we will probably go from having 2 hearings a meeting to 3. But that is to be figured out as time goes on. However, regardless of the number of hearings that are happening during a meeting, it is imperative that we have the sufficient number of commissioners. So I thank Mayor Bora for appointing Sonia Y. Baycotti of Main Street to be a landlord in the category of, is it landlord? Yeah, landlord. Is she a full commissioner? Mayor, is she going to be a full commissioner or is she going to be an alternate? Full commissioner. All right. And Mason Smith, who, by the way, I have spoken to Sonia on the phone. She is very much interested, and she will be a magnificent asset. Mason Smith, I have not spoken to him at all. However, I did see him in action, speaking before the speaking for the council last, perhaps summer, during the time period of the public hearing for the fair rent ordinance that you later passed. And I found it rather impressive. And to my knowledge, he will be joining with your permission or approval, join the panel of alternates in the category of renter, Democrat renter. I think these 2 appointments should go through, and I believe Mayor Bora may have other appointments in the near future, but it is imperative that we have a full commission to fully service the needs of the renters of the city of West Haven. And going on my previous comment, this is embarrassing to say.
Mr. Chairman. 3 minutes have passed.
All right, well, forget it.
Steve, see if you want to finish up real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Tucker, who's not here, and others who I don't remember exactly who assisted me in a certain personal situation a month ago at this time. Thank you.
We're glad that you're doing better, Steve. Oh, you want the pity vote? Would anyone else from the public like to address the city council? For a second time, would anyone else from the public like to address the city council? Third and final time, anyone from the public like to address the city council? Seeing none, public session is closed. Time is 7:12. Okay, before we convene the regular meeting, I understand that the mayor has a proclamation that she would like to read.
Thank you, Chairman Vargo. This is in recognition of Apraxia Day, and there's a family impacted and brought this to my attention last year. We talked about this last year, but it's something that we just want to read into the record annually. On May 14th, this is an official proclamation, May 14th, 2026, the city of West Haven, Connecticut observes the 12th annual Childhood Apraxia, and I hope I'm saying that right, Apraxia, I am, okay, of Speech Day by increasing awareness of CAS, a motor speech disorder that makes it difficult for children to speak. And whereas children with apraxia of speech generally have a good understanding of language and know what they want to say, however, they have difficulty learning or carrying out the complex sequenced movements that are necessary for intelligible speech. And whereas, although the act of learning to speak comes effortlessly to most children, those with CAS require early, appropriate, and intensive speech therapy to learn to speak. Without appropriate speech therapy intervention, children with apraxia are placed at high risk for secondary impacts within reading, writing, spelling, and other school-related skills. And whereas public awareness of CAS in the city of West Haven is essential for families of children with apraxia and the professionals who support them to best advocate for needed services for children learning to use their own voices. And whereas our highest respect goes to children and their families, those children who are impacted, whose speech are impacted, for their determination, and resilience in the face of obstacles. Now, therefore, I, Dorinda Boer, Mayor of the City of West Haven, Connecticut, do hereby proclaim May 14th, 2026 as Apraxia Awareness Day in the City of West Haven, Connecticut, and I urge all residents to join me in raising awareness for this childhood impactfulness. And I also want to mention, I don't think we talked about it last time, that we put the nonverbal boards at our playground is something that did we talk about that? It was something that I had seen online in Norwalk that they did in their parks, and I thought it was so great to allow children who come to the playgrounds to be able to, and I was there while the children were using it, and they would point to, swings, or if they were thirsty, I drink, right? They can't say it, but there's all, words that were identified that were common words. So, and those are at the Painter Park and also at C-Bluff. So, thank you for allowing me to read that.
Outstanding. It's wonderful. Anything we can do to support our kids and help them grow up. And
nobody should have that extra heavy lift.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the time is 7:15. We will convene the regular meeting of the City Council. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of April 22nd, 2026?
Motion.
Motion from Councilwoman Callahan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Tagliatella. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 27, 2026?
Motion.
Motion from Councilman Donovan. Do I have a second? Second from Councilwoman Akbarelli. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention, two abstentions, three abstentions. Do I have a four? No? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, when you are ready, would you please read the communications into the record?
We have before us this evening Communication A from the tax collector regarding refund of overpayments for May 2026, which will be filed with tonight's minutes. Communication B from Chief Joseph Perno regarding animal control donations being assigned to the Finance Committee, Chairwoman Akbarali. Communication C has been withdrawn. Communication D from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action regarding the appointment of Sonia Y. Bacotti, 175 Main Street, second floor, West Haven, to the Fair Rent Commission. Ms. Bacotti's appointment will be filling a vacancy and will be effective immediately. Her term expires on April 30th, 2028, being assigned to the Personnel and Civil Service Committee, Chairman Ronan. And Communication E from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action regarding the appointment of Mason C. Smith, 156 Bull Hill Lane, Apartment B12, West Haven, to the Fair Rent Commission panel of alternates. Mr. Smith's appointment will be replacing Rich Desso, whose term expired, and will be effective immediately. His term expires on April 30th, 2028, and this is being assigned to the Personnel and Civil Service Committee, Chairman Ronan. And that concludes the communications for this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Stacy. Time is 7:17, and we will recess into committee meetings. First up is the Finance Committee, Chairwoman Akbarali.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 7:17, and your Committee on Finance is now in session. Members present are Councilman Donovan, Councilman Quagliani, Councilwoman Garthwaite, and myself, Councilwoman Akbarali. Councilman Tucker is absent. First, we have, or the only thing we have, is Communication B from Chief Joseph Perno regarding animal shelter control donations. Does anybody on the committee, or would like to open this up favorably, may I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or comments?
I have a little comment. I just want to point out that the Elks, which is one of my favorite organizations, donated a large chunk of change to the animal shelter. So I want to especially thank the Elks.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Councilwoman Callahan?
Just a comment that thank you, Mayor, for bringing the Big Dog Show, because I think that's helping with the donations as well, and really bringing to light overall the need for help in every animal shelter, but especially in ours. So thanks.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other comments or questions? Mayor Borer?
Since you brought it up, I was going to talk about it under new business, but yes, so we were able to raise the money through the sponsorships, but it also brings awareness because a lot of people drive by and say, what's that all about? It's a fundraiser for the animal shelter, and we say that over and over and over, and people just keep hearing fundraiser for animal shelter fund, and it plants the seed. And the more we continue to, give exposure to that need is really great for the animal shelter. So everything we could do to help them out in partnership. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Borer. Any other questions or comments? Seeing there are no more questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Chairman, the time is now 7:19, and your Committee on Finance is now closed.
Thank you. Moving on to Committee on Personnel and Civil Service, Chairman Ronan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The time is 7:20. The Committee on Personnel and Civil Service is now in session. Members present are councilpersons Akbarali, Rivera, Tagliatella, Garthwaite, and myself, Councilman Ronan, acting as chair. We have before us tonight Communication D from tonight's agenda. From Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action regarding the appointment of Sonia Y. Bacotti, 175 Main Street, second floor, West Haven, to the Fair Rent Commission. Ms. Bacotti's appointment will be filling a vacancy and will be effective immediately. Her term will expire on April 30th, 2028. I'd like to bring this out favorably.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. We have before us tonight Communication E from tonight's agenda from Mayor Dorinda Borer requesting consideration and action regarding the appointment of Mason C. Smith, 156 Bull Hill Lane, Apartment B12, West Haven, to the Fair Rent Commission panel of alternates. Mr. Smith's appointment will be replacing Rich Desso, whose term expired and will be effective immediately. His term will expire on April 30th, 2028. I'd like to bring this out favorably.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Of course you can.
Only because he's sitting right there. Yeah, we were trying to wave you, Steve. We were trying to go. That's okay. First, I want to mention about Sonia before I mention about Mason. So Sonia, I happened to meet her at the Apple Festival. Believe it or not, you meet all sorts of people at the Apple Festival. And I just got to know her, and she has been writing to me, and we've been corresponding, and she's been giving suggestions, and she's has some time. She has a daughter that has a disability, and they go over to Wheat and they volunteer, and she seems very lovely. And she talked to me about joining one of our boards and commissions, and I thought it would be a great fit. And so I wish her all the best, and I think she's, and I appreciate your vote of confidence for her. And then Mason, I mentioned last time he was here, was my student when I was a teacher over at University of New Haven, and he was a great student. And came here the night we were talking about fair rent and the importance of it, and was really advocating for fairness, but knew both sides of the coin. And I thought I was very impressed. Not that I taught you that. That was that no. But since then, so Mason was from Pennsylvania, and he came to school here, but he decided not to go back home. He really loves West Haven, and he wants to stay here and get involved. So since he has been volunteering at Wheat, he volunteered for Volunteer Day. He's helping us with the Memorial Day Parade, and he wants to serve on one of our board and commissions. So I think it's a really great success story, and I'm very proud of you and happy to recommend you.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there any further discussion? Yes.
I just want to know what grade Professor Bohr gave you.
Form.
You did well, apparently. Thank you, Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Got one more. We have tonight before us Agenda D from the February 23rd, 2026 agenda. This matter is being withdrawn. That concludes the business of Personnel and Civil Service at 7:24. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, time is 7:24. Council Hall is reconvening. Moving on to unfinished business. We have a little bit to talk about charter revision, but Councilman Quagliani, would you like to give a brief update of where the commission is?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So regarding the Charter Revision Commission's May 5th and May 7th meeting, there was a lot of workshopping going on, a lot of wordsmithing. They workshopped and approved the definitions section of the draft charter, specifics to contracts, departments, public notice, vacancies. They're continuing to revise sections for gender neutrality. They spoke about the election of chair and vice chair, and how the vice chair would cover meetings when the chair of the city council is absent. Talked extensively about approval of contracts, boards and commissions, their duties, their requirements, their notice and attendance at board and commission meetings. Discussion regarding what happens if you violate the charter, what are the penalties. A lot of Board of Ed requirements regarding posting the budget, purchasing, monthly reporting, quarterly and annual reporting. They updated civil preparedness section, updated human resources to human services section and adjusted the responsibilities, updated the section on elderly services to senior services with a senior citizen commission. And their next meetings are May the 12th, May the 14th, when they're going to approve a draft to send to this body. May the 21st will be their public hearing on any changes that this body has made, and then May 28th will be the vote on the draft from there. So that's sort of brief, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Attorney Cassini, would you mind coming up just to make sure that I understand and the council understands the timeline from this point forward?
Gladly, though you hardly need me with Ron here. calendar for the CRC is accurate. We're meeting tomorrow, we're meeting again on Thursday, and then a week from Thursday. You will see a draft that comes out of the commission on Thursday or Friday, the 14th or the 15th, and it'll be posted, publicized widely. Recommendation to shrink that timeline is that you all start taking a look at it there. There probably won't be many changes, although there could be, between that time and after the public hearing. I don't suspect all of it will change or be scrubbed, but it'll give you a chance to get a head start. Between today and the end of this week, we'll have more substantive work that's complete, including that draft. After which, the ball is kind of in your court. And the recommendations that came in speaking with Attorney Mednick, our outside counsel who's helping us through this process, were that before your public hearing on, I believe, the 21st of June has been floated, that there be meetings scheduled each of the weeks in advance of that. I understand the first week of June is an impossibility for this body, and the last week of June is an impossibility as well. So again, you've got that shrunken timeline. I don't know if you all have discussed when or how many to have. We can have that conversation now if you'd like.
So we have talked about it, and right now we are looking, if you want to check your calendar as well, we're looking to have our first meeting on June 10th, second meeting on June 11th, public hearing on June 17th, and then hopefully our final meeting to wrap it up and for a final vote on June 24th.
So meeting both the 10th and the 11th.
Right.
Wednesday and Thursday of that week. And then Wednesday the 17th as your public hearing. And coming back that following Monday as regularly scheduled.
Monday's a regular meeting, then a special meeting on the 24th to wrap up the charter.
Very well. Between myself and Attorney Mednick, I'm sure we'll have each of those covered. I would encourage you, and I know Councilman Quagliani has done so as well, to invite the CRC to those meetings for three reasons. One, of course, the timeline. But two, there may be questions, the answers to which Attorney Mednick and I do not have. We're scribing as they're discussing and debating, and I'm also not privy to all of the conversations. He may not be as well. But the chair or the vice chair should be at those meetings, and they will have answers to the questions of why or how they came to those recommendations. And that's also your opportunity to let them know either there are some things that just simply won't pass this body, in which case we don't have to spend any further time on them, or if you made this one change or these two changes here or there, then that would be perfectly acceptable to us, in which case we can move those things to the top of the list. Of course, if you see something that you think is perfectly fine as presented, that's a quick pass, and we'll just stamp that and make sure that that gets put on. But we don't want to spend too much time on the things that we've already done with them well enough that will satisfy this body.
Great. And you said that the close to the final document will be available either the 14th or the 15th?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't know how long we'll go the 14th. It could be that Tuesday we get enough done that we don't have to spend much time actually discussing things and voting on things. But the goal is that by the time you all are ready to look at it on the 15th, that you'll have it available to you. And that's not just for this body, that's for the public at large. Anybody can take a look at it if they'd like to.
And I'm strongly encouraging the council to take every opportunity to grab it on the 15th and to start taking a look. Because like I said, I've watched a lot of the meetings. There's probably 24 items that are being proposed for this, but only a small handful that I think are going to be the issues that we have to address. So the sooner that we all kind of digest it, come up with our thoughts, I think the more productive the first two meetings can be.
Yep.
And then hopefully the last meeting we can wrap it up very quickly after the public hearing. After this is done, I just want to make sure that the council's clear. After we have voted to send language back to the CRC
Yes.
on the 24th, they have, am I right, 30 days to deliberate and come up with a.
Well, by statute they do, but
They
by
don't
the
have-
timeline we're on, they do not have 30 days. Of course, everything needs to be out of your hands and back to them by the end of June, which it will be. And then by the end of July has to be completed and come back, but everything by August has to be sent up to the Secretary of State. So we're shrinking that, yes. By law, they have 30 days. It won't take that long. We'll get it done in a meeting or two. Respond to you, and I'll let you know whatever it is you all come up with. And it can be anything. You can decide that you don't like the mayor to wear that color shawl and you want that in the charter, even if the CRC hasn't come up with
I
it.
think it's great.
I think it's wonderful, but
It's wonderful.
the body does what the body does. You're not limited to those things that they voted on and have sent to you in the report. But the opposite is not true. The inverse is not true. When they receive their notes and comments from you, they are limited to those comments and notes that they can respond to. Now, either of you can say, we don't care for what's been done, and they can stick to their guns if you decide that there's something that they've proposed that they're not going to do. Of course, you probably know how that will go, and so will they. But they're allowed to do that if they'd like to. That's not the goal. What we'd like to do is hammer out what some of those issues might be with these collaborative sessions, or find out that there will not be a resolution to something quickly and move past it if that's what it comes to. When it comes back to you is when you really have the final power, which is working with Attorney Mendick and myself to craft the actual questions that are sent to the Secretary of State. And at that point, you can say every single one of these recommended changes that we've accepted will be its own referendum question, or we can package them, or you can put them all together in one binary choice. You either do or don't like all the changes. That is your right, but that also is your responsibility. So depending on how badly you want to get this done, you all know the electorate much better than I do, much better than Attorney Mednick does. You should think about that carefully, because once it goes up to the Secretary of State, that's it. They'll print it as submitted, as long as we get it there on time, and it will show up on the November ballot. And if you remember, when we started talking about this in the abstract, the goal was trying to get through this, not rushed, but quickly, in an effort to have it on the November ballot. And through hell or high water, we actually do have that available to us in front of us, so long as everybody keeps to the timeline that's been prescribed. I know it's tight, and I know that there's been a lot of asked of you and of the other body, but everybody has responded really positively and worked very, very diligently to get us to this point.
Attorney Cassini, after the CRC has their final review, after we send it back, what's our timeline to pass the questions? How much?
So it'll depend on when exactly they give it back to you, but like I said, by August sometime, you're going to have it sent to the Secretary of State. So I would make it another 2 meetings, maybe 3 meetings. The questions that you're going to have to answer for yourselves are these. 1, how should we break this up and present it? Remember, you're going to be crafting the ballot, essentially, as to the referendum questions. 2, what's the end goal here? Are some of these things more important than others? In which case, maybe you can't workshop the language in a way that you're all satisfied with. Right? You ultimately have the determination. So you probably want to earmark which are most important to you. And like I said, when the draft comes out, start working on how you think it should be presented. We don't work on the questions when we're in the CRC. We work on what the actual language will look like if and when the adoptions are made. The questions is up to you, and that's really the toughest part.
And am I correct that after the CRC sent us back their final report in July, it's not just a yes or a no? We have the opportunity to change
Yes.
the language. So if we suggest to the CRC that they make a change and they come back and say no, we have the option
Yes.
to then make that change ourselves and
That's
then
right.
do the question. Okay.
And also, like I said, you're not limited to what they send to you. They're limited to what you've sent to them. You can say, well, you didn't deal with this thing. We wished you had, but you hadn't. We're going to deal with it on ourselves, by ourselves. And we're going to craft a question that has nothing to do with anything that's been in your draft report, your discussions, your deliberations, or your final report, because we've all decided that it should be part of something. That's fine. That's well within your authorities to do so.
Thank you. Anyone from the council have any questions? Councilwoman Heffernan?
Good evening, Attorney. How many questions are the norm for a referendum? I mean, I don't think I've ever remembered ever having more than one.
Charter revision referendums are different than referendums, policy referendums. I'll grant there normally aren't that many, but it depends on your electorate and the municipality, and depends on what you're trying to get done. It may also depend on how you are able to collapse or combine some of these. For instance, one of the recommendations that will come in the draft is that 2 of the elected positions become appointed. Well, you may want to have that in one question put together. You may want to split that up. That'll be your decision to make. So, should it be 24 questions? Probably not. The ultimate goal is to have people vote not in the way that you would like to engineer it, but in the way that they want things to happen, so that they understand what's happening. So they understand the choice that they make effectuates this change or that. And that's up to all of us to get not just the vote out, but the word out as to what it is they're voting on. So, like I said, it may be that you enjoy 28 of the items that have come back from the CRC, but you just can't figure out how to make it all work so that people understand it. And that's acceptable too.
Does it cost more money to have more questions? I know that sounds like a
Yes.
dumb question. It does, okay. Exponentially more?
Exponentially is a word that kind of doesn't mean anything, so I try not to use it unless I'm billing by the hour, which I'm not. It's extremely expensive to print every single word individually, not just on the ballot, but remember, you're going to have to publicize this, right? We can't only make use of social media. There's one recommended change that we're not limited to newspaper publication. So the next time around, maybe you can do it strictly digitally, but right now you can't. So you're going to have it paid to be printed. And you probably should anyway. If there are 28 different questions that you want, the newspaper is going to ask for a big chunk of change for that. So exponentially, I don't know about that, but it's expensive. It can be tens of thousands for other municipalities, if and when they need to print the entire thing.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Mayor?
So I had the same question, but I got lost there for a second. So printing, so we need to print the entire charter, or do we just print what the changes are to the charter?
Well, there is recommendations as to what you should do and what you're absolutely obligated to do. You're only obligated to publicize the reports and the changes that are recommended, the notes that are going to come out. Leading up to the referendum, the election day, it would probably be best to print all of them. Again, so that people have access to the information and make the best choice available to them. You're not required to do so, of course. People, no matter what the vote, what the ballot says, people are responsible for themselves to educate themselves as to what it is they're voting on. That being said, I've heard from some people that the last time this was tried, a lot of folks either didn't fully understand what was happening and so they stayed away from it, or they voted no because everything was bundled together and they didn't like one thing. It became kind of a poison pill, and so it didn't pass because they enjoyed 7 of the 8 things or whatever it may be, but they couldn't stomach the 8th one, and so they didn't vote for it. I don't know what you'll do with that information, but if it's all done only as legally prescribed without working to get the word out, it may fall on its face. So that's a long way to say you're not obligated to print everything in the newspaper. If you think that's the best way to get the widest spread word, that may be the way to go. I will tell you, I've told them, and I will counsel this body too if they ask, we should make use of every means available to us to get the word out. All the social media platforms will have things printed downstairs for people to just stop by and pick it up, or maybe if somebody's just here and they see it, they don't even know about it, they can pull one. That's a low-cost way to go about it. You still do have other obligations as well.
Who makes that decision?
To print things and put them downstairs?
No. Whether we print the whole thing, or is that Charter Commission? Is it the council?
Well, it depends on which thing you're talking about. So if it's their report, then that body will make that decision. If it's the notes and comments that come from here, then this body will decide how and where those are publicized. Ultimately, it's the clerk's responsibility to make sure that the word gets out to the Secretary of State and noticed properly. So I'm sure he will in counsel with your office and maybe even mine.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for Attorney Cassini? Thank you. Is there any other discussion on charter revision at this time? Okay. So tentatively, we will meet on June 10th and June 11th and June 24th with a public hearing on June 17th. As we get a little bit closer, we'll double check our calendars and then issue the final notices. Okay, moving on to committee reports. Madam Clerk, will you please read Communication A into the record?
Communication A from the tax collector regarding refund of overpayments for May 2026 will be filed with tonight's minutes.
Thank you. Next up is the Finance Committee, Chairwoman Accarelli.
Thank you, Chairman. Communication B, to the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication B from tonight's agenda, animal shelter donations totaling $1,723. Reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May 2026 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the animal shelter donations totaling $1,723 to be deposited into the animal shelter donations account number 101-000-00-28285. Linda A. Foley, $25. E. Margot Ramos, $30. Nora Jackson, $50. Kenneth J. Dingelis, $50. Sandra A. Armenio, $25. Suzanne DeBias, $25. West Haven Lodge Elks, $1,500. And Vivo, $18. And I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilwoman Accarelli regarding a matter of animal shelter donations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilwoman Garthwaite. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you, Chairman. That concludes the business with finance.
Thank you. Next up is Personnel and Civil Service. Chairman Ronan.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Personnel and Civil Service, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication D from tonight's agenda, reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the appointment of Sonia Y. Bacotti, 175 Main Street, 2nd floor, West Haven, Connecticut, to the Fair Rent Commission. Ms. Bacotti's appointment will be filling a vacancy and will be effective immediately and expire on April 30th, 2028. And I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Ronan regarding the appointment of Sonia Y. Bacotti to the Fair Rent Commission. Do I have a second? Second from Councilwoman Tagliatella. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Personnel and Civil Service, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding the Communication E from tonight's agenda, reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May 2026 to consider said matter. It is unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the appointment of Mason C. Smith, 156 Bull Hill Lane, Apartment B12, West Haven, Connecticut, to the Fair Rent Commission and panel of alternates. Mr. Smith's appointment will be replacing Rich Deso, whose term expired and will become effective immediately and expire on April 30th, 2028. And I so move.
I have a motion from Councilman Ronan regarding the appointment of Mason C. Smith as an alternate to the Fair Rent Commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Quagliani. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman?
Just like to take a minute. I'm happy to support Mason. The mayor did a great synopsis of all of his attributes. I got an opportunity to meet with Mason and get to know him a little while ago, and he's definitely wants to give back. He's energetic, and he's looking to make a difference, which I think he has already, and he's a proud member of the 10th District. So I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Beaton?
Mr. Chairman, Mason, I was you a couple decades ago from Massachusetts, in University of New Haven, settled Never went back, raised a family. Look where I am now. You can do the same.
Thank you.
We're not.
Just look at him.
Mason, that's not a threat.
Run. Any other discussion?
It's gonna mold.
Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Motion carries.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Smith. Welcome aboard.
Mason, thank you. Good luck.
One more, Mr. Chair. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Personnel and Civil Service, to whom was referred the matter of consideration and action regarding Communication D from the February 23rd, 2026 agenda, reports that the committee met on the 11th day of May 2026 and that the matter has been withdrawn.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That concludes the business of Personnel and Civil Service.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, moving on to council liaison reports. Once, twice. Excellent. Any new business? Councilman Callahan?
Hi, thank you. Not really my district, but I think this is the last meeting we have before the parade. Am I correct?
I will get to that.
Okay. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, so that's all I have to say.
Councilman Garthwaite?
I do have something. Riva Restaurant and Bar is having a fundraiser for the West Haven Animal Shelter on the 17th. So head on over and support our animal shelter. They're going to have some of their dogs there for adoption.
May 17th?
May
June 17th.
May 7th. Oh, hold on. May 17th. Yeah, 12 to 3. Yep. They're donating $3 from every lucky one. Cute little pit bull on the logo. Lucky One lemonade. $3 from every single drink sold. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other new business from the council? Mayor?
Yes, great. Thanks. Nice, succinct meeting. Yes, our Memorial Day parade is coming up on Monday, 5:25 at 10:30 in the morning. Hopefully, you will all be in attendance. If you can't walk, we will provide a golf cart for you because we will have them there for the veterans, to bring the veterans to the beginning of the parade and to get them on their float. And also, it's a large undertaking. So if you have anybody who wants to volunteer, we do have a number of volunteers, but we could always use more volunteers, and it's a great way to get people involved. It's a very solemn, it's kind of bittersweet, right? Because we celebrate those who sacrificed all, but it's a way for people to come together and really appreciate, what they've done for our country. And it's also a great way to honor the families who lost a loved one for what they gave for our country. So, it'll kick off at Captain Thomas Boulevard, like it always does, and it'll end right at Center Street. We have a lot of great marching units, like we always do, and it'd be really great. And our Grand Marshal is Butch Treat, and he's a great guy. Worked for the city for many years as well, and everybody got a mailer that let everybody know about it. But also, leading up to the parade is our dedication of our bricks, our brick ceremony. It's the phase 18 of bricks that have been donated in honor of somebody. So that is going to be at 10:30 on that Saturday morning. So we changed it. It's typically at night, like at 5:30 on a Saturday. We changed it to 10:30. So this way, if people want to go do something for the long weekend, and also the veterans, it gives, just gives everybody a chance for us to do it in the morning. So we ask that you join us for that. It's a very important patriotic weekend. And then also, I wanted to mention on the Walk of Honor. So we've been looking at something for a couple of months to do banners on the Walk of Honor for somebody who's been in the military. So look for that soon because we've priced out the banners and we're figuring out how to do it. So we're going to keep them on the Walk of Honor. So it's going to be really cool. And we will share that information with you. I mentioned briefly at the budget meeting that we settled the police contract. Typically I don't mention it till we're ready to bring it before you, but since it was part of the budget, that's why I mentioned it. So they will be here for the next, the contract will be here for the next council meeting. So you will get that ahead of time. And speaking of the budget, I just want to say thank you for all of your input. I know that you are going to do a lot of work. I have a lot of confidence in all the work that you're going to do and all the great ideas you will bring to the table. We've been inundated with feedback from residents, so I think that's really great. We've gotten calls and just a lot of great feedback, which is good because obviously it was a bit of work, a couple of months of struggle there. We received great feedback in the paper. In particular, Hartford Current did a really nice article, and why that's really important is because the Hartford Current did a lot of articles about West Haven when we were going through some pretty tough times, because it was a highlight at the state of Connecticut because of what we went through and the relationship to a state representative. So I was up there at that time. It was not a pretty thing to live through while you were back home, not living through a pretty thing. And just a reminder, so, and it kind of ties into the state funding, but when I was up there, when I first got up there, we were getting all this funding for West Haven and all this funding for West Haven, and it was really rolling, along pretty nicely. We were, up there advocating, and then hit the fan. And, the leaders up there turned to me. I was like, oh, we need this, we need that. And they turned to me and they said, you're not getting one more penny until that city gets their act together. And that was a direct quote. And so then I said, okay, well, if you won't give the money to the city, how about I start finding nonprofits to give the funding to? And that's how I was able to get funding for WE and the community house, the land trust, to upgrade the boardwalk. I started looking for all the nonprofits, and they were able to give us funding that way, the Historic Society. But I also knew there was going to come a point where if we didn't straighten things out, then, we were going to run out of opportunities. And that was exactly the reason that I ran, so that we could kind of fix the foundation. So long story short, I'm really glad that they did that article because I think they wanted to talk about, it's been less than a year since we got out of the MARB. Actually, I think it's next week. Feels like 10 years, but so that was really cool to see. It felt really good, and I got a lot of feedback from state leaders on both sides of the aisle. Actually, my first call was from a Republican up there, a former leader in the Republican Party that said, hey, just want to congratulate you guys down there, and you're doing a lot of great work. So that felt really good. What else? What did I mention? Oh, I just texted about the dumping while we were sitting here. So they will be on it tomorrow. And I got to see exactly what piece of property you're talking about to be able to say whose it is. The pipe plan, yes, we have a pipe plan because we were under, an order to fix our pipes. So we have a number of pipes that we have to fix before we're in more violation. So that has been what we're doing. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hebert, if you want to speak, could you go up to the podium?
Yeah.
I believe the problem is that there's no copies of the plan on site. So they need it there because, if that happens at 2 o'clock in the morning, they'd like to get that drawing and be able to ascertain what the problem is. If it's sitting here in City Hall, you got to wait until City Hall.
They should have it at the sewer facility. I will double check.
That's the impression we got is that they don't have those drawings on site.
Okay. They're the ones who run the pipe plan, so hopefully they got it. But I will double check. But thanks for bringing it to my attention. Speaking of dumping, we have a lot of videos of the dumping now because of these cameras. So we just fined somebody about $1,000, Marginal Drive. You will be happy to hear. And the person lived right down the street. So I know, it's crazy. And apparently didn't see the big sign, camera surveillance. But our cameras are working. There's a lot of areas that continually have dumping. We'll work on Bloom Street, but everywhere across the city. So those cameras are working. So and we're putting up more. As we get funding, we can put up more. Great news. We found out from the federal government that we will be receiving more funding for more security. So we'll be doing a press conference on that in the near future, and I will give you more details. very excited about that. We worked on that for 2 years. 2 years because everything going up on the federal government, we kept, going on pause. And then one other thing, there was a comment, and I like to try sometimes in new business to address the comments about the Board of Ed budget. So just, as a reminder, I know the Board of Education, they have a new finance director, so they're working on getting the budget online, but it is a matter of law that it's the Board of Education that posts that budget. So there's, 9 elected officials in the Board of Education. We go there, Pete and I go there. I know they're working on it, but I know Ricky Spryer posted it recently, but, we work in partnership, but we, have to get the material from the Board of Ed in order to post it. So we work hand in hand with them, and that's it. Oh, Acoustic Sunday starts too. Acoustic Sunday is starting. It is sponsored by the Breakwall. The Breakwall sponsored the series last year, so they're sponsoring it again. And the first one is going to be Sweeter Than Wine, a favorite. So if you haven't been to our Acoustic Sunday, it's a lot of fun. You just go back, bring your chair, bring a cup of coffee, tea. June 7th. Yeah. And that's all I have. Any questions for me or anything? Yeah.
Councilman Garthwaite?
Mayor, we have a lot moving in the city, which is exciting, right? Is there anything for the Havens?
It's the Still group, the same group that's under contract. Listen, it's just too many units for me. It's just too many units. That has been my feedback. They've come down on the number of units. There needs to be a commercial component. So I think, they want to, those that are under contract would like to maybe, talk to some of the council people or talk a little bit about their project. And they are certainly welcome to do that. I know where I stand, so it's very difficult for me to, support the project when it's just too many units.
Can I ask how many units and what kind? Are they high end? Are they low end? Are they?
Oh, well, so I don't know, since they're under contract, really, if I'm supposed to say how many units. I don't know. So I better not. Just in case I'm not supposed to.
Cassini's shaking his head.
He's shaking his head in the back. No, don't talk. Zip your lip. But we continue to work with them and the Simon Group on what that opportunity is. It's been about 8 months now of environmental cleanup, so a lot has been invested into it. But I know that developers make their funding off of residential units, and of course there's going to be a component there, but there has to be a balance. The problem with the project is it's just too big. 26 acres. You have to buy 26 acres, right? That's a large, every developer I talk to, they say, that's a large piece of land to buy. It's not like 10 acres. We could put something there. They're not going to make any money on open space or a rink or a lot of the ideas we hear. Somebody's not going to buy that for $15 million and put in another $15 million without making funds, right? Revenue. I mean, that's the reality. But I need to be comfortable with the project. I do have another thought down there. I think I mentioned this in the last meeting. I don't remember if I did. I forget what I said. But I did meet with, when I went to the quarry in Oxford, and I talked to the developers there who were really great developers, and they had good feedback. And I said to them, well, tell me why, I did my whole sales pitch. And they said they were very complimentary of West Haven. They said, it's great. We want to do something in West Haven. Well, that's not the right site for us. And I said, why? And they said, well, you've been so focused on that site. Really, your focus needs to be on the other side of Kimberly Avenue Bridge. And that's what's, it's a distressed area. So, we're not going to make that investment and then you come over the bridge and, it's the gateway, and that's hard because those are private properties, right? So I can't change them. However, when I was a state representative, we had gotten $5 million to help. This is a long story, but you asked. We had gotten $5 million to help abate and demolish buildings for accessibility to the water. And that $5 million was supposed to complement the project, right, around the project. What happened was in the prior administration, they told the Simon Group, we're going to give you $2 million of that to take buildings down. Something I was not in favor of because the Simon Group has more money than, right? Why are we giving $2 million to this private company to take those buildings down? So it was a little bit of a fight I had up in Hartford, and what the attorney at the time said, that was with the prior administration, said, well, we want to demonstrate that things are happening down there, and if we help them take the buildings down, then maybe people will say something's happening and somebody will want to buy the property. I was like, okay. So the prior administration was supposed to have a contract with the Simon Group. They put out $2 million. They were supposed to have a contract that once that sold or shovel went in the ground, that money came back to the city. They never executed the contract. So the city was out $2 million to a private project that we could not recoup. However, the only good news out of that, if you want to say good news, is that when I got here, then I called the state and I said, well, how much money did you put out of that $5 million to help the Simon Group? And they said 0, because the city put it out, and the city didn't have a contract with the state to get that money, and the city didn't have a contract with the Simon Group. So the only good news out of that is that meant there was $5 million sitting there, right? So I went and asked the bond commission, because there was very specific language what to do with that $5 million, if we could repurpose the language and allow us to now focus on the other side of Kimberly Avenue. So we went out to bid for a broker about a month ago. We went through the whole process, the interview process, the RFP process, selected a broker, are signing that contract with that broker any day, and now we're going to have that broker help us work on the other side. Now, does it sell the Haven site? But while that is going on, that process, we are going to be working on the other side. And hopefully that attracts folks because they know now that we're cleaning up that area. You know, is that all clear as mud? Okay, so we do work on it, and I think my focus is the other side of Kimberly right now. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for all that, all that information. Just speaking on the budget, and I'm sure many of my council members have, started looking at it over the weekend, and you could tell the amount of work that you and your staff put into it, the hard decisions that you all had to make, and now the ball is on our court. I know that we have a very full plate the next couple of weeks, couple of weeks. We're going to be saying a lot of each other, but this is what we signed up for. So I know that we're going to put in the work, and we have our public hearing next Monday, and then starting next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have meetings. And then the Wednesday and Thursday after that, we have more meetings with the department heads, and then we deliberate and vote the week of the 1st. So I know that we're going to put in the work. I know that that we're going to pass a budget that we feel is responsible to the residents. But just at first blush, thank you for all the hard work.
So much, and just want to add that I did have a department head meeting, and I asked that they all come prepared, not just to talk about the line items, right? Because obviously that's critical in the budget, but come and talk about your accomplishments over the past year and talk about what are your goals for fiscal year 27. So you have a sense of, what's going on in the department, and it's not just, this is $8,000 or this is $80,000. What have you been doing? Right? And because a lot of them have a great story to tell, and a lot of successes that everybody might not always hear, public might always hear, but also what are you going to do going forward with the funds that are in the budget? And I've had that conversations with them, so it'd be great to hear.
Yeah, I can't agree with that more because, as a taxpayer and from talking to residents, nobody wants to pay high taxes. Nobody wants their taxes to go up. Thankfully, you've worked very hard to keep them flat in this budget, but people are forgiving if they see real tangible results. So if they can come here with that information saying this is what you're getting for your dollar, that's going to go a long way.
That's exactly what I tell people, when they say we have high taxes, we do. I pay them too.
Me too.
And, it's hard to change those overnight, but what I can do is show you the value for your dollar. And that's what we try to do and make sure we're very visible so people see their money at work.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilwoman Callahan?
Just a comment too about just on what the mayor had said about Marginal Drive. It's a tremendous, it's been a tremendous problem, and I can't believe that finally we're seeing results. Thank you for the cameras. Thank you to Ricky Fontana. I've met with Mr. Fontana and the New Haven side, and thank you to the Heberts for constantly being that eyes on the ground and helping with cleanup constantly with the West River project. So it might also help you feel better that that camera's there and working. Also on another note, and I know we want to get out of here, is that the door-to-door solicitors is working. I came home the other day and there was 2 policemen that had a young man not pulled over, he was walking, and they were asking him, and ironically, he had been at my house the day before. He did have a license, and he was, I just said, hey, heads up, just so you don't get in trouble. He was very polite, very nice. Tell me if I'm wrong or right, but it was the next day when the police had him, and the police officer said they have to actually check in every day. They don't just get a license and walk. They have to actually check in every day and renew that license every morning. I didn't know that. I thought once they had the license to go out and, do their soliciting, they were good. But the policeman said, no, they have to go every morning and get checked in, so to speak. So I just want to clarify that.
Well, since I wrote it and you guys all approved it, as I sit here, I'm trying to remember what we did. They have to register. Obviously, they pay a fine. They can't go back to the house more than once within a certain period of time. They can't knock, after dark. I think they only register once, but now I'm second guessing myself. But you're right, it's making a difference because I get Facebook messages all the time, and they'll say, "Hey, there's somebody on my street," and I say, "Well, call the police. Don't call me." People call me on police things a lot, and I'm like, "Don't call me." But I did happen to see online on social media 2 other cities surrounding us that were talking about that we did this ordinance, and that we really want to have it in our city. So it was a model program we did, which is really cool.
And I just think it's really working. And then just to touch on Mr. Mullins and the Fair Housing Rent Commission, it's a tremendous undertaking, and thank you for the new people that have joined. But on the mortgage side, I see a little bit too, and they're really trying hard on federal level to pass multi-million-dollar corporations from buying up our homes, because that's why there is a lot of shortage of homes, is because these big corporations are going in, buying the homes, and then renting them. And they're really trying to put just a cap on that because right now there isn't one. So it's not fair to the regular person who's trying to go out there and buy a home right now. It's actually making a large problem across America. So they're really trying to cap that at a level where if you have a corporation, you might be capped at 5 instead of 50. So that's where the issue has become so severe too with housing and affordability. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. Thank you. All set.
Thank you. If nothing else, hanging on.
Be with me. I see typing.
This is live updates, folks.
Live update from our PD. You do have to check in every day. It must be a long response.
Does anybody want to chat? How's everybody's Mother's Day? Good?
Happy Mother's Day. Oh, they are supposed to check in with us daily and let us know where they are going. They don't have to register every day, but they got to check in every day to say where they're hitting that day. Did you hear me? They don't have to register every day, but they're supposed to check in to let them know what neighborhood they're going to that day. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a great week. See you next week. Motion adjourned.